The first step to learning this movement is getting used to starting in a low lunge and going over to yourself back to that same starting position. So I'm lifting up with the back leg, landing it on the ground, and then reaching back around with the front one to land back in that same position. And here I'm just stepping through it first. Once you're comfortable with that, you can start adding a little bit of a hop and put all of your weight in your hands as you pass over. So again, here I'm really driving up with that back foot to carry me over to the front. So as you get more comfortable with that, the next step is to try to drive up harder to get your hips more over your head before you flip over to the other side. I'm really aggressively shooting that back leg up to carry me over. Notice here I'm landing both legs at the same time, but you can do one and then the other. But the next goal should be to lift yourself up high enough so that you can stand up straight. This requires that your hips go up completely over your head and that you're also reaching for the ground to get your feet under you before you land. And then the next step to get to the final movement is to try to land one leg at a time and then walk out. You can see that I rotate a little bit after I land, and this is what you should be striving for. One of the most common problems that people have in learning this move is that they can't stand up from that extended position. So these exercises will help teach you how to do that. So I start really low on the ground. First leg steps, second one wraps all the way around, and then I push off the ground to stand up with my hips high. It's really important that when you turn around, your hips stay high and that you don't hinge and try to sit down. Once I'm comfortable with stepping, now I start hopping that leg over. So the first leg jumps, and then again I step the second leg over and then push straight up with my hips. And just like before, the way I progress this is trying to get my hips higher and higher and jump more and more until I'm able to land more like a front walkover step out position. And again, this comes from really aggressively driving that back leg straight up. So here I'm going over the technique of the actual Reversao movement. So it's going to look like this wheel kick or this meia lua de compasso for capoeira people that I'm sending directly over myself instead of sideways. So I step all the way across, point my fingers to the back, and then kick over with that same movement that we learned before when we were stepping over with the lunge. One of the most common problems I see when people are attempting this move is they land kind of like this, a little crumpled up and not able to completely stand up comfortably at the finish. And usually why this is happening is because of where they're looking. Here I'm kind of exaggerating it, but they end up kind of looking at the ground or at their leg. The correct way to do this is to look at your target or the wall in front of you the entire movement. Here as I go through upside down and kick all the way through, I never lose sight of the target in front of me. And what that does is keep my spine nice and extended, so it's very easy for me to reach the ground.